And with Christmas out of the way and a new year of 2025 fast approaching, it is time for the only remaining old world podcast that has a free Discord, doesn't charge you money on Patreon, and doesn't ask you to give us money in any way. That's right, it's Strength Hammer, episode 119. That's not the.
Yeah, Discord.
I have a Discord, yeah. I,
Oh, great. I knew that.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it's linked down below all the time. It's completely free to set up, but no one cares.
Yeah, I'm not on there, so.
That's fine. That's fine. Listen, there's people who have Patreons that give you great items and give you giveaways, like
Mhm.
the beautiful man above me right now, Fit Hammer. But there's also podcasts that just give you access to a chat group that I can give that to you for free. It's easy, guys. Relax.
Uh,
Like and subscribe. Let's get to 1,000. I
I
don't
am.
want your money, anybody. I just want you to enjoy this content.
I am planning to be on Discord more often here soon, so maybe I will be more active on there.
Yeah, it'd be fun. That'd be fun. Like I said, it's got to grow. It's got to build. Like I said, it's all set up okay. It's just there's not a ton of people that are partaking in it. But hey, Old World, 40K, Fitness, man, we got you all covered in all the different chat groups here.
That's right. Cool.
Alex, how you doing?
It's that post Christmas sigh, back to work, right? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Christmas was a wonderful, wonderful day. I got a lot backed in. How are you, Chuck?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, you had a crazy Christmas because you randomly appeared at my door to give me a gift, and it was amazing. I used it quite a bit last night. Um, little red light therapy. Helped my lower back quite immensely. My neck hasn't done much yet, but I'm gonna put some more on it today to see what I can do. But
Yeah,
wife,
those really lights are legit. I mean, it's a small unit, but it's really helpful.
yeah. Plus, also, I mean, at the very least, eat all the other science behind it aside, that thing gets kind of warm, and it's a nice little heat pack. So like at the very
At a
least, it's
minimum,
great for that.
it like stimulates some blood flow to the area. I mean,
Exactly, which blood heals. So
hey, blood heals. That's right.
yeah, good Christmas relaxing. I I started Christmas Eve, and I'm like, I had a bunch of cookies from my sister, homemade. Like, we'll get through them. Obviously, I expect a few treats. Like, I always get chocolate covered pretzels from my mom, and just some basic stuff. And then my mother-in-law came in Christmas Day.
Uh-huh.
She brought so much, and I'm like, I'm glad I have Warhammer friends that I'm going to see this week because I literally cannot eat all of it before it would go bad, and also like it'd make me.
You shouldn't.
I shouldn't. Yeah, it's way too like. I'm planning to overindulge my regular amount, not.
Right. And you have to save some of the indulging for the Tyrathi event you're coming up to.
I'm gonna be pretty good. The food's actually gonna be good. Menu's working out. Yeah. It's not gonna be. There's not gonna be any 2 a.m. trips on a jeep in the middle of a field drinking a case of beer.
Sure, sure,
At least not for me. Someone else wants to go do it. You guys have fun.
sure. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it. I guess we'll have one more recording before it goes, before we
Yes.
have it.
Yes, we'll have
Yeah.
one more recording next week as usual. Start off the year, and then we'll be reviewing the Terathi pack, little
Awesome.
comp I have.
Sweet.
It's maybe a surprise for you, Alex. I'm not sure what your week is like, but Neil may be on a boat with his family on a
That's right.
cruise.
That's right.
So we might need to figure out a time to be me and you for the show. I need to talk to Neil later. I'm not sure what his schedule's like, but it might be busier than ours.
Yeah, other plans. Yeah.
But with that, how's your lawn?
Lawn is great. About the same as last time we talked.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Sidewalks clear, not icy.
Sidewalk is No, it's not really been. It's been mostly not a lot of snow or ice lately. So
Not although it's
very
cold,
easy maintenance. It was cold. It was a little bit
cold
cold.
today. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this weather. I like when it's cold in the wintertime.
Oh man, I am so eager for that first like heavy snowfall when like everything gets all quiet. Man, I
Yeah,
cannot wait for that.
I love that too. It's a shame we don't get more of it, honestly, in where we're at in Pennsylvania.
Out here, it's weird because like we're 10 minutes away, but I get a little bit more. My parents are 10 minutes
Sure.
even farther away from me, away from you. They get a little bit more. It's like it's a
In the
weird
mountains.
ramp up from where we are, but
Hmm.
oh yeah. But hey, you know what? My lawn, much the same as yours.
Yeah,
Just
I
taking care of
figured
everything. I guess. Hey, if you want some life thing going on, I gotta take my car in for inspection this weekend. So that's woo.
that is so funny because I also have to take my car in for an oil change and an inspection. So yeah, kind of how that lined up.
Yep. Actually, well, I forgot to tell them I need oil change too.
Wow. Our oil change cycle synced in.
They did. They did. Although our car inspection, not so much because this car was due in May. It's just I drive it around town, so I don't care.
That's well, mine was also due probably 4 months ago. It just didn't pass inspection because I didn't have a mirror. But now I have the mirror, so
Oh,
the
that's right.
side
You
mirror.
lost. Yeah, you lost your driver's side.
Yeah, well, less lost, more drove into things. Yes.
Oh man, there's that Russian dash cam footage we need. Spicy. No. Okay. Well, hey, lice out of the way. Actually, before we even dive into like what we're gonna talk about here for the New Year's, did you get any Warhammer for Christmas?
I actually did not. No.
Well,
No.
technically, my gift to you was Warhammer related.
Yeah, you got me
But what?
the
Yeah, it wasn't models, but no models, right?
right. Yeah, no Warhammer models or anything to build or assemble, which is good, by the way. I keep joking with everybody, is that a new Warhammer army you got me? But I'm like, I don't need another Warhammer army to build or assemble or paint. I have way too many already, stocked on shelves, crying out for help.
That's fair. It's fair. I was perusing Instagram this morning, and uh, uh, her name's Eleanor. She's over in the UK. She
Hmm.
does piano stuff and painting stuff. But it was just her reaction. She's like, I decided to sort my pile of shame today, and that was a mistake. I'm like, oof.
Yeah, yeah, one day it will happen, but not today's not that day.
So I'm looking at my pile of shame, which has grown for my Christmas here. Uh,
Yeah, how many models is it?
Four.
Hmm,
I've
sounds about right.
I have the start of a Votan army over here, which I don't know. Like, I'll probably talk more about this on the hobby side with Neil,
Sure.
but man, I'm not feeling it as much anymore. Like it's kind of
You do
passing.
you do have a very much a Votan vibe about you.
I do, and it's how much. It's like I need to start it, get
Mhm.
into it. It's only gonna be about. I'm only gonna take it to 1,000 points, I think.
Okay, yeah. Do a fun color scheme, right? Do something you haven't done before.
I haven't done green in. Well, no, I did green last. Actually, that's the other thing. I'll talk more of this on the side with Neil, but I was like, man, I didn't do much hobby this year. I painted 4 armies
Yeah,
base. Like I'm like, oh, okay, I did a lot this year. Never mind. But
yeah,
anyway,
well, you did a
get
ton.
to it. I have 4 more models. I'll show the reveal of what my Warhammer is for Christmas Day with Neil. But I got 4 new models added. Take a guess below in the comments.
Yeah.
Timestamp it.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some on your Instagram. So,
Yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you already know what it is.
mhm.
uh,
Yeah, but there are new models, which is good because there's hundreds that need to be painted, if not over 1,000, honestly. So
that's it's only about a day's worth of work. Actually,
that's that's why I'm gonna get everything done for Terrathi. I'm not even worried
yeah,
about it.
you're fine. You're fine. You're not still building your army like everybody else. God. Actually, I need to check. I always track down how many models I've completed over the year, and
Mhm.
this year was way more than I ever thought possible. Caveat on that, Alex, I'll check that before I record with Neil, but um, I do include in there stuff I do for Games Workshop, and that does
Right.
include paint takes that only are supposed to be primed, but that is painting it to the completion of what I'm asked, so I include it.
Mhm.
Even without that, I know even if you take just that away, I'm at least over 1,000 models again this year.
Yeah, it's not surprising. You are a machine when it comes to hobbying.
I I'm not sure if you were looking at the Strength Hammer chat last night, but I was going through like an existential crisis. I'm like, it's time to stop. And I was just like, how about I just do one army per year? And of course, Big M, our dear friend, responded with, "That's what normal enthusiasts do."
Yeah, people commit to one army per year, like
Hmm.
completed army, 2,000 points, maybe another 1,000 for adjusting the list. That's what's normal.
That is what's normal. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
not
And that's
normal.
actually optimistic for some people. Some people, I mean, we'll talk about hobby in a little bit, but yeah, It's very optimistic for some people.
Maybe that's a problem. Maybe I need to talk about doing hobby, not actually do hobby, and then make people pay to get this content. That's how we
Mm,
get successful. That seems to be what everybody else does.
Think smart, not
Come on,
hard.
I'm calling shade here at the end of the year. Come on, guys. Not on the listeners, on other
No,
content.
not hard.
Listeners, you're beautiful. Watchers are even more beautiful. I don't know. All right. Anyway. Oh yeah, there we go. That was just for you guys, just for the watchers. That was just for the watchers. Oh, but anyway, Alex. So
Yes.
Christmas is over. We're in that in between time. We're waiting for the year to end. You and I don't care about resolutions. I don't
Yeah.
think
No.
goal. We have goals.
Web goals.
Uh,
Yes.
and the reason I like goals, not resolutions, is because goals are set not at the time of the year where they're most likely to be forgotten within 3 months.
Right.
Not to say if resolutions help you and they have worked in the past, by all means go for it. Me, they never worked for me, so I just set goals continuously throughout my year. Um,
Yeah.
but with that in mind, we have two things to talk about. One, what are some of our goals for the coming year in fitness and hobby, and
Sure.
then also look back what was maybe one of our proudest moments
Sure.
this past year. So, would you like to start, or would you like me to start? You can pick whichever topic you prefer.
Sure. Sure. I like that. And the funny thing is, we just said, you just said, and I agree with you. Like, we don't like resolutions, and then we follow what are our goals for this year, right? And the difference is,
Mm-hmm.
those goals, usually it seems with you and I, the way we set goals, they're seasonal goals, right? So
Mm-hmm.
here's what I'm aiming for next month, next 2 months, next 3 months, next 4 months. Sometimes they may be a 12-month goal, but it's not, oh, I want to lose 100 pounds this year. And then you don't really have a plan or a structure. It's so ambiguous that you never actually get to it, or never stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah, and
But yeah,
also
let's,
also goals that I think you and I both have. Like my goals, I've been thinking about these goals for 6 months. I just haven't committed to enacting them yet.
yes.
And I may not commit to enacting them start of the year. It may be March or maybe July when I start it. But
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll start with my, because it's easier because I have it written down. I actually have all my goals for next 4 months written out, and I can read you the fitness and hobby ones. So for fitness, health and physical goals, my goals are to do a pretty hard cut. I'm just coming out of a pretty consistent lean bulk
mm-hmm.
uh, since August of 2024 until about mid-January 2024. Last couple weeks, I've been just focusing more on maintenance, and I'm committing to a hard cut for 4 months. And by hard, I mean any cut for me is hard. I do not like cutting. I like maintaining or bulking.
Right.
So it's going to be hard regardless of what I do, but I want to commit to a cut for 4 months, see what we can do without losing too much muscle. I don't have a goal weight per se. I just want to see consistent progress, which is on a cut losing fat.
Yeah, and you may reach a point too where you're like, I don't want to lose anymore. And you might push a
Right.
little. You might push a little past that, but you might be like, you know what? No, I need to stop. It's fine.
Yeah, if it that's those goals are not a hard goal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a commitment as long as it's healthy. Like this bulk, the whole time was very healthy for the whole 4 or 5 months. So I never stopped it. But if it gets mentally or physically unhealthy, yeah, of course I'm going to stop. But as of right now, the goal is to commit to a 4 month cut, and that's really the main physical goal because it's hard to make strength gains on a cut. So I'm not
Oh
giving
yeah.
myself like bench this number or squat this number. And it's the goal is hard enough. I guess another thing to go with it is partially for health, partially for spiritual practice. I've been fasting most mornings. And that's how I recommend using fasting. I don't recommend using it for weight loss alone because it'll be miserable.
Use
It'll
it
be
for
like, oh,
clarity,
use it for clarity, use it for
focus.
prayer, whatever you use it for. But I've been actually really enjoying fasting in the first few hours of the day.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't do it for any other reason other than I have to wait for my wife to wake up, but I'm usually up by 7:30, and I won't eat until about 10:30. So
Okay. Yeah, you're not doing much different than me because I will
no,
wait till 11:30, 12, not much later than that either.
you're right. But it's like I it's odd because I also like I think we've talked to. I like big breakfasts. I like light lunches. I like big dinners. So it
I
does
like that.
work out well because like then my light lunch is like around 2, and yeah.
Sure. Cool.
Yeah, but not doing it for any reason other than my wife's asleep and we make breakfast together and it's fun.
Nice too, by the way, right? It's a good reason.
Yeah,
Find a better reason for it than just dieting, because it's going to be very hard to stick to if it's just for weight loss.
true. That's
It
yeah,
might work, but it's going to be very hard.
it's a very wise way to put that.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm going to be joining you on the cut. So we'll see how long I last. I'm gonna last. I mean, my goal is to get at least like 2 months through before I
Okay,
start like really struggling, maybe.
sure, sure.
Um, but it's not been too bad. I don't have a ridiculously high maintenance right now. Because I bet I was not bulking this past year. I was just kind of and like some days were below and a couple weeks were below, but
Sure.
um, tightening up the diet would be a good thing for me. So and like hey, it might be too much. 2 months in, I'm like, ooh, I'm seeing the 6 pack, Alex, and you're just like, go, let's go, and like we get deeper.
Keep going. That'll
Um,
be good.
yeah, and then I'm still chasing that 500-pound deadlift.
Mm,
That was set by our dear friend Team Drew's basement over on Instagram with all of his fun stuff going on. Go check him out. I'll link him below. Um, the goal was to get it before the year's out. That is 100% not happening because for the last gym session I tweaked my neck and my back a little bit. So um, still gonna go to the gym tomorrow. Just do some body or not body weight, machine work and some basic stuff. Nothing, no compound movements with the barbells, but uh, so I'm going to see how it goes, and then I think you let me know like the date of when we're starting the
mhm.
cut
Yeah.
because I'm gonna push up until then. And if,
Uh,
if I'm like 490, I might be like Alex, I'll be a month behind you.
sure,
I
sure. Not a
doubt
big
I'm
deal.
gonna yeah, I doubt I'm gonna be there, but after we do the cut, the plan after that would be to move back into a strength building cycle to chase that 500-pound deadlift. Like I said, and maybe next year. I think it can be next year, especially because like at that point I'll have
Yeah.
most of the year to work towards it. So
Right.
instead of 2.5 months, 3 months, whatever it was.
It was
Um,
very, yeah, very fast sort of build up to 500 pounds. I tried. I was there with you in the beginning. I'm like, this is not worth it. I was because I was focusing so much on bodybuilding style
yeah,
bulking, and then I kind of tried switching to powerlifting style, which is not as effective for building muscle. And I was like, ah,
yeah. Plus also like it's a deadlift. Like if you hurt yourself on it, well, you just screwed up every other part of your life.
yeah,
So
yeah. It was just not worth it for that one challenge. I tried for a little bit; it was fun, but I'm like, I kind of have other goals already before that one showed up, right?
yeah, but my goal is to chase that 500-pound deadlift, but also like I said, join you in the cut.
Hmm.
If we're doing it together, we can complain to each other
Yes.
and hold each other accountable.
You
Hopefully,
hear us complaining a lot on the podcast. How's the cut going? It's worth it, I swear.
we're doing it. Actually, the hardest part of it is going to be because we'll be early on, and I have to go down to Dallas for work,
Oh no.
which it's fine because I'll eat good food down there because the company is
Sure,
paying for it.
sure.
But then I come back, have a day to relax, and then I go to Brewhammer. And I'm gonna want to drink a lot of beer, but I'm not.
Yeah. Do they have light beer there? They have light beer
I'm
options?
sure they do, which is what I'll be doing.
Right.
But it's like Warhammer event people are like, oh, let me buy you a beer, let me buy you a beer, and it's just like I'm good, I'm good, and
That's challenging.
yeah. I was at a Warhammer. I won't say which one. The gentleman was a great opponent. We hugged. We had a good time. But like it started out weird because he's like, "Hey, do you want a beer?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm good, thank you." And he like got weird. Like, "Oh, okay. You don't want my beer?" I'm like, "I just don't. It's 10 a.m. Calm down."
That's funny. It's like we're here at Brewhammer drinking beer every round, every turn.
I'm going
So
tomorrow. Drink a beer.
that's right. Kill a model, drink a beer. Yeah. So my hobby goals are this season pretty simple. So next 4 months, I would like to build and paint 2,400 points of a goblins army for Old World, not orcs and goblins, and some might assume, just the goblins. And it should be easy because 1,200 points will be built and painted for your event.
Hmm, hmm.
Now they're not going to be painted to the standard that I like, so I have to go and paint more of them. And then, so really, it's going to be finish painting 1,200 points and build 1,200 points in the next 4 months. Of the goblins for Old World, commit to that. On the side, I'll probably work a little bit on the Middle Earth army.
Oh, yeah.
This will be very simple. It's just a fellowship. And lastly, I want to read 3 Warhammer books, and I'm counting audiobooks, so it will be pretty easy.
Oh, there you go. That's good. I won't go because a lot of my topic will be with Neil on this, but to piggy off the books, I recently picked up on Amazon the Malice Darkblade series. Not it's everything but the last 2 books I think which were end time focused. Those are hard to get, but I found a great deal on the original Chronicles. So the goal is to read those this year because I've been really slacking on my Warhammer reading. Like if it wasn't Gotrek, I wasn't reading it.
Fair.
I do have a Double Eagle by Dan. I think it's Dan Abnett. 40K book, and I read the first chapter or 2, and it's really good. Friend of the show and at the club, Brandon, wanted to do a book club for it, and like he's read it like 3 times now, and I'm rereading it finally. So I owe him that, and it's a good book. Like the first chapter is really well written.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's
I know
that.
you guys are doing a book club. That sounds fun.
Well, he started it, and then none of us had time to read the book. So I want to read it so we can talk about it because I think he really wants to talk about it, and we will because it's very like the first couple chapters are really well written in regards to I think like a military structure within the Imperial Guard.
That makes sense why Brendan likes it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's fascinating to see like I guess correlations and where it's going to differ and with the religious fervor and all that stuff.
Sure. That's cool. I like it.
Yeah, and then man, I've like it's gonna be the whole topic with Neil. So it won't bug you here, but man, I my whole high elf armies are over here on my left desk. I'll tell you about it off air, but
Sure.
you guys will hear
Same
about that.
for that part of Chuck's hobby goals.
Chuck's mind goblins wanting to do things because he's just like whatever. I live in the United States of America and I'm doing pretty well for myself, so I must invent my own problems.
That's literally what's happening with
Yeah.
the hobby.
Yeah, it's like yeah. Thankfully, I decorate it towards hobby and not like political stuff because that would be a nightmare.
Oh, thank you. Let's just live in our world of Warhammer.
Yeah, high elves are cool. Yeah, that'd be fun. Okay, well, with that, let's look at this past year.
Mhm.
What's it can be hobby, it can be fitness. You can have one of each, whatever you like.
Sure.
Yeah, what are you
Sure.
proud of?
I think okay. I think with the fitness, it's more obvious. I set a goal to get to over 200-pound walking weight, and I achieved it when I was walking right about 204, 205 consistently. So that was pretty cool. I was getting out of the victim weight
Mm-hmm.
into a non-victim weight of
Exactly.
over 200 pounds. It's going to go immediately down on a cut, but we achieved it. Happy, and eventually we'll get back to it. Maybe next lean bulk. That's the only obvious thing. I haven't hit any major PRs this year. Last PR I had was at Arnold for chest.
Yeah.
A while ago. Yeah, so I wasn't chasing PRs. I was chasing more bodybuilding style workouts. And as far as hobby, I have not painted a lot of models this year. But the one thing I think I am proud of with hobby is I've actually, and it's not just hobby, but that plays into it, is I've finally got to a point where I actually enjoy reading books this year.
Nice.
Never in my life did I enjoy it. I did it because it's a good habit. I enjoyed audiobooks, let's put it that way. But I didn't really enjoy reading books almost ever in my life. And this year, for the first time, I'm actually enjoying it. And that also means that I'm enjoying reading Warhammer books. Like, no,
Paper books.
physical Warhammer books. Yeah, not just audiobooks. And it's something I haven't done before, and I'm actually really enjoying it right now. So,
Actually, because I'm thinking back to when we first met and you were playing Warhammer out of the book in Russian.
mhm.
Have you looked to see if you could buy like Russian Warhammer books? Because I bet you could find older ones more easily and probably cheaper. Just a thought.
Maybe
Just a thought for you.
I probably could in Russia, but right now I'm not traveling to Russia, so
Well, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
that's the
Okay.
problem.
All right. That's some fun, proud moments.
Yeah, it's kind of small, but
Mm-hmm.
kind of fun.
I say similar to you. Like my last PRs were at the Arnold because we were together and we were in the room with Ronnie Coleman and Kai Green, and every other jacked human in the universe.
Yeah, the energy there was wild. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of like thinking back on it. The fact that we actually were able to get the bench to use, of how crazy busy that place was.
Yeah, it was packed. It's probably the most packed gym I've ever seen, besides maybe like January 1st or at beginning of January. But it was ridiculously packed gyms.
Plus, also, it was the only big event I ever went to, the Arnold, and came back not sick because probably everybody's like very healthy, like have
It's
good
on
immune systems because they take care of their diet and stuff.
for whatever you call it.
It's sorry, I just realized that. I'm like, yeah, because I got like a sniffle or something after every. I didn't go to lots of events this year, which kind of was my plan. I wanted to like back off on,
Hmm.
like, yeah, because I was hitting a lot of Warhammer events for a while. But one thing, I started the year. I took on a very monumental task. It was more than I could chew. I did it, but I hated it by the end. But I was still proud of it. Looking back on it, I had to paint. Essentially, I painted 15 Vanguard boxes, which were used for Spearhead demos. I during like the early stuff when the new Sigmar was coming out for like GW events.
Hmm.
But the fact that I was able to do it in like what 2 months, maybe I think it was like 2 months or something. I'm pretty proud of that because some armies were like, that's I never painted that model, but like I got to paint 15 different army styles,
Yeah,
and I was just basing it off the box. But do that all like back to back to back. Um, it was hard, but it was. Yeah, I look back on it like I did that. That felt cool.
yeah,
I wonder where those models are now.
yeah. I do wonder, did they give them away? To put them in a box?
I mean, yeah, listen, it's my job. It's just odd because like usually, like, I mean, you know me, like if I paint a model, it's real hard for me to want to like part with it. It's mine now,
Yeah,
and these were
yeah.
like fully painted. Um,
Hmm.
Although I do laugh, I painted up. If people out there did get to keep them somewhere, or they might be in a box like in the truck. They who knows, they could be
Sure.
forever hidden. But uh, it's fun that I've painted things that were part of Warhammer history, I guess you could say. And the Daughters of Cain Spearhead box was entirely it was my Teyrathi scheme. I'm like everything else was off the box, like blue
That's
trolls, just a green fact. All, Daughters of Cain didn't even look at the box. Daughters, it was Teyrathi the whole way.
I love it. I love it. That's great.
So someone
Yeah,
out there,
hopefully Scotland has a Tyrathi army.
what's that?
Hopefully somebody got it and they have a Tyrathi army.
Yeah, right. Or like I said, it's at the warehouse in Memphis, Tennessee. It's just quietly sitting in a box, and in 3 decades, it'll suddenly appear again, and I'll be like, "Whoa, that was me." Um, and then like yeah, like fitness. Like I think if I look back, I was a lot more consistent than maybe I realize I have been, which is a pretty proud thing.
Yeah.
Um, Even on my worst times, it was at least 2 times a week, usually three, sometimes more. Um, and like yeah, and then getting, I guess, she can take the proudness of it, but my wife joining me on weight training now with some bodybuilding weight movements
Nice.
has been nice every Friday. So that's tomorrow's plan or today's plan if
Yeah.
you're listening to this on day of release.
That's really cool. But I mean, that's actually, if I was in your place, that'd probably be a big, big win for me because I know for a while you were talking about you wanting to join her, wanting to join you for the resistance training, the weight training. And now she has, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and it'll be easier too with this cut actually because
Mm,
we do that every Friday. So my Monday, Wednesday, usually I was doing the bro split, you know, like push pull, upper lower, all that stuff. So it was 3 days a week,
mm,
style. But then my Friday was taken over, and then we just do it all around bodybuilding workout. So now I'm like, okay, with the cut, I'm not gonna be focused on the bench and the squat and the deadlift as much.
right.
So it's gonna be like more I can just work it in and maybe get her to do it 2 times a week and be like, hey, let's focus on the upper today. Let's do the push today. Let's do the pull, and then, you know, probably mix in more cardio. That curse word.
Yes. Yes. That'll have to go up, unfortunately. It doesn't have to, but it will help. So,
No, I do like cardio. Like I'm so glad. Like right now I sit at 210 body weight.
mhm, mhm.
I'm happy that I can go run a mile comfortably.
Sure.
Like I've
Sure.
always wanted to make sure I maintain that. Like I want to be able to do a pull up at whatever body weight I'm at, or like at least a set of five, and be able to run a mile comfortably. And I can do both those things. So that's always
Yeah.
been a good benchmark, I think, in my brain.
It's so funny you mentioned pull-ups because recently I started a new program doing pull-ups, and I've not done pull-ups for a while, but I've never been unable to do like 15, right? or more, and I did 6, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Because I've never weighed over like 205. I've
Yeah,
always weighed most of my life. I weighed between 180 to 185, adult life at least. And yeah, it was weird because it was so dense. I like was struggling to get more than I think I did 6.5 the first time I did it.
it's fun. Yeah, it's odd, but hey, you know what? Just keep building. You'll get it back.
Oh yeah, that's the one movement that'll be easy to get back
That and
was up
push-ups. Yeah,
weight and your push-ups, dips, things of that nature.
exactly. Although, man, with the way my like trap is and neck is right now, I don't know if I could do one.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
if I
once
could, it would just hurt like a bitch.
once you heal, right?
Yeah. Um. Well, no. Okay. So I hope everybody out there, like, hope you have some nice goals you've been working on that you're carrying on to the next year. I hope you have some accomplishments. Let us know what they might be down below. And if you're a resolutioner and resolutions work for you, let us know what your resolution is. Like, so I'm not. They're not for me. They've never helped me. But if they work for you, I'm not going to be against them.
Yeah, do whatever works for you, and
Yeah.
you know yourself better than us. Don't let
Yeah.
us tell you that. Do not do something that won't work for you.
Yeah. Just do what gets you going. Just like, but understand discipline is king. Motivation is a start.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Now, normally, this would be a time where we let Alex go. But,
No.
but my work's slow right now. And Alex, I think, is also a little slow.
Yeah, I'm mostly off work today. I have a couple things to get done.
Yeah, yeah, it's a casual day. But before we started recording, they decided to put out another Old World Almanac for the Empire. Now,
That's right.
Alex, you were a cities player for Age of Sigmar. You had your halfling cities army, which was gorgeous. I know you flirted with the idea of maybe taking it back to Old World. I know it's an option, but like
Hmm.
you're one of the closest ones I have to people who are willing to come on this podcast locally as friends, who are Empire players, I should say.
Fair, fair.
So we're just gonna go over that here as a little bonus segment for you here. So
I like it.
I'll bring it up on screen. Alex, you have it in front of you.
I have it in front of me.
All right, so we'll just go through it. We're gonna read this together. I've not read this yet. Neither is Alex.
Very good.
So Old World Almanac. What's up with the Empire Man? What is up with the Empire Man, Alex?
I have no idea. We're about to find out.
Okay, all right. Well, we take a closer look inside the arcane journal Empire of Man,
Did
which
you,
is on
did you see
pre-order.
that the moot was on the map?
The moot was on the map. You are
The
right
moot,
there. Okay, so
find it.
getting a little help, guys. Wrote it today. We're returning to our chat to work out what's going on with the elector counts squabble. Major regions rattle sabers, brandishing handguns, and menacing pick their teeth with billhooks. I don't know what a billhook is. Alex, do you know what a billhook is?
No idea.
Versatile cutting tool used widely in agriculture. Okay, sure. All right, now we know what a billhook is.
Hmm. Wow. I might be getting excited.
Okay, all right. Let's go down back to the lore. All right. Do you want to start off with this comment from JTY? Do you want to read it?
Wait, just read it because I don't know where we're at.
Okay. From a lore perspective, the new book explains quite a lot about the political situation of the Empire and the period we're in. To clarify, this is not the age of the three emperors, which I thought were all in. I think that we all assume that.
That's what I assume too.
In which the Empire had broken into three big power blocks, each with an emperor. That came to an end in IC 1979, Imperial calendar, I assume,
Hmm.
when the electors got together and tried to make Margrita of Marienburg, after whom several later rulers of Westerland were named, the Empress. Called Sigmar hated this idea, and the Empire shattered. So now we're in a period known as the Anarchies. Okay, so we've kind of, I don't know if the Anarchy was ever really a thing in the story as far as like a major point. So I wonder if it's like this little like vignette they found, or they decided like this is more exciting to like a thread to pull on to kind of like insert it a little bit. But
Hmm.
I'm fine with it either way.
So is this before the Age of Three Emperors or after?
This is after,
Okay.
but so Magnus the Pious is around, but this is probably like 20, 30 years before the first great war against chaos, when Magnus the Pious unites the empire again fully.
That's cool. I like that.
Okay, so it's not outright civil war, but this period of no rule lasts until the rise of Magnus. There we go.
Hmm.
Four major blocks now, alongside numerous free states in the south. Map shows all the detail, including the major claimants to the throne.
Hmm.
So there's the map. Happily go check that out. I think you said the moot's on there. I think
The
I'm
moot is in close to the
oh, Mootland,
mountains at the bottom. Yep, you see it. I love the banner they have for them.
the
The
little
little
rooster.
it's actually a cockatrice. Looks like.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's very cool.
All right. Well,
It's always baffled me that Moot is right next to orc tribes. Like, how are they surviving? Because they're right next to the mountains.
that's true. I guess the dwarves keep them at bay or something. Maybe who knows?
Yeah, probably
I
dwarves.
mean,
That's fair.
the moot. They're gonna be lucky. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
all right, all right. From Danny, alliances are shifting so regularly and borders moving so often that it's sometimes hard for common folk to know who their rulers are and where they live.
Mhm.
Man, yeah, it's like I'm not paying your taxes. I'm not paying anybody's taxes. I didn't vote for you.
I don't have as much voting going on in
I don't think
Empire.
so either. All right, for those on the outside, it looks completely disordered, but on the inside, life goes on, and if you kick it hard enough, the Empire will pull together to fight against larger threats, which I think we're seeing with some of those heroes they gave us,
Right.
which is good, because otherwise, yeah, the dream would be dead. None of these states want to be in this position. They do all refer to it as the Empire. It's just that they all feel they should be in charge.
Fair.
That's fair.
Very fair. Yeah.
Nice little shot of a cannon there. I'm assuming that's
Like some
Nuln.
ultimate. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so the scenario included within this Arcane Journal, which comes out in pre-order Saturday, can't wait, focuses on Nuln, which, as we've, Alex, I'm not sure if you looked at my last video. Do you know Nuln is the most American of the provinces?
Because they're all about guns.
They all have guns, and they very very highly value their freedom. Boom
That's
boom,
America right there.
right? And also, hey, it's black and gold, baby. You get some Steelers
Like a
Nation going
cold.
on.
It's Pittsburgh. It's
It's
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. All right. Scenario. Okay. Has a threat to handle, and we'll deal with the politics later. Arms shipments are going missing in Tabwickland, and after some investigation, the culprit's discovered to be beastmen, culminating
Mm,
in a big battle in the woods. That's fun.
that is fun. Beastmen are they're such good enemies. They're just beasts.
There's always more. Throw a
It's
thousand
almost
away. It's not a big deal.
yeah.
All right. Best described as a tale of the as a tale from the old world. Some of these stories in arcane journals will absolutely lead to bigger things, tying into a wider story they're trying to tell. Others are more self-contained. This is one of those. Okay, so this is like a self-contained, non-specific thing. So not
Mhm.
a big pivotal point in the world.
Yeah.
If they decide to come back and look at Nuln, they can use this as a jumping-off point. But this gets your motor going if you're a Nuln fan. Which if I was to start Empire, man, Nuln would be fun.
Yeah. Still can.
I don't tempt me, Frodo. All right, look at the
Uh,
miniatures here. Once again, we've used the release as an opportunity to return to miniatures archives. Puro Ogres from long ago. Uh, they're real old, real old.
yeah.
I know some people
I,
love this. This is
I
before
love that.
you do. They're before
I,
me as
I
far as
love
my
this.
nostalgia.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just like I like the style. I like that old school style of models. That was around the same time where the halflings were released, right? So, it's a very similar style to the Moot models. So I just love it a lot.
That's fair. And to be fair, these are probably human size compared to what ogres are now. So you could use them in your moot army if you wanted to.
That's hilarious. You're probably right. You're probably very much right.
And this isn't a critique in like in a bad way, but the reason I don't the nostalgia doesn't hit for them, and like I'm not really like fascinated by these ogres specifically, is they're a little too Muppet like.
I
I'm
can
not
see that.
I'm not the biggest Muppet fan in the world.
Yeah,
I don't
fair.
hate the Muppets, but they kind of creep me out.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Right, anyway, ogres live in human cities, very much part of the empire. Adopted uniforms, heraldry, all that stuff.
Is that
Um,
used to be a thing? I don't remember that being part of the lore.
they were more mercenaries in the old world than they were in Sigmar, as far as like they would be within human settlements.
Really?
hmm
I don't remember them living in
It
cities.
it was very minimal,
Yeah.
but yeah, that lore's been there.
That's cool.
Let's see. Wherever they go in the world, ogres are inherently adventurous, picking parts of culture wherever they settle down and eating all the food.
Hmm. Okay, I remember that part.
Nonstop food. Okay. They want to bring back old grandmasters for the same reason. They bring back name miniatures from the era of Karl Franz because those grandmasters. Okay, so yeah, they're trying to bring back the generic ones because we're in
Right.
the past. They're humans. They wouldn't be alive yet from the ones they created for the old fantasy days. But yeah, seeing the Knights of Blazing Sun, Teutonic Guard Knights, like all that sort of stuff is cool.
Mm.
Old Empire characters are pretty iconic. People immediately recognize them for what they were. Yeah, okay, so trying to not bring back an old model because it looks cool. Um, if it looks too much like something that we'd recognize from 8th edition, I guess.
Right,
Which,
right. No, those are models.
yeah,
I like it.
what do you think? Do you care if like they brought back um like a cool model, even if it's very clearly like an 8th edition, and we can just call it something else? Do you care about that?
If it's a name character, yeah, because
Okay,
they picked a setting. I wish they picked just 8th edition setting timeline, right, with Karl Franz, but they didn't. So they picked a setting. So I wish they stick to it, and maybe they put out new characters like they are doing, name characters who were in that timeline.
no, that's fair. Yeah, and
I'm
we could.
excited to see what they do with characters who were living, something like Tyrion or Teclis or some people or Marathi, people who we do know, right? I wonder if they're going to release models for those.
Well, there's supposedly that Core Hill leak where we get the Core Hill model back, maybe a White Lions army. We don't know if that's real or fake yet. But it's also like, man, I wish they would have resculpted him to be younger and different.
Right. Maybe
If
slightly.
that's the case.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Like
fair.
we're Warhammer fans, we're always going to want more. So, um, but Core Hill coming back, the strongest of the High Elves, I'm all for it.
Hmm.
All right. Let's see. They've done some work to ensure Empire miniatures are recognizable, but yeah, okay. This is going through. We know this. They've removed things like Karl Franz and
Oh, no
yeah,
way.
well, like the symbols and stuff that would be very specific towards
That's
him.
crazy. They actually went out of the way to remove symbols from plastic kits.
They did that on for one of the war not the war altar the Luminarch thing for Age of Sigmar. They removed the Karl Franz stuff. They retooled it.
Ah, that's crazy because the model I have of the Griffin
Hmm.
still has the Karl Franz, the KF symbol. So,
Yeah, so does mine, but I use it for Sigmar because Karl
right,
Franz
that
is
doesn't
my
matter.
yeah is my Celestin Prime. Um, Although it's gonna be real interesting because like that just a quick aside here. Come back to us briefly. There's like a whole thing like if I look at my video game hobby, there's video game preservation. So like model preservation. Okay, we're getting these old models back, which is great, but now it's like those kits that have Karl Franz's stuff on it. Like there's a limited amount of them now.
Hmm.
They probably
Hmm.
won't retool it to bring it back. Not that I know of, but so yeah, I don't know if I see one out in the wild for normal price, maybe I'll just buy it and just sit on it. You never know.
Like with the KF on it.
Yeah, or Karl Franz. Yeah,
That could be cool. Huh.
yeah, because that's a weird preservation thing. It's not the worst. It's a little bit different, I guess, in this hobby. But anyway.
That's interesting. I like that. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost unnecessary, but that's cool.
All right, quickly get through the wizards here.
Yeah,
We need some.
wizards.
Yeah, they're cool. Of
There.
course, magic exists, but we haven't set up the high elves haven't set up the wizards yet because we still haven't had the battle Finnival plane yet. I'm pretty sure. Um, so these are all hedge wizards, but they're very clearly elemental necromancer. They've chosen their school of magic that they focus on because we needed some magic, so we had to kind of brush a few things under the rug here, I think, which is fine.
That's cool. I like that part as part of the lore. They still are mages,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not structured, right? So they kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah, so it's not contained. Yeah, these new 3 models are absolutely gorgeous. Um,
Really.
yeah, like
What's
man,
your favorite?
what's that?
What's your favorite?
Oh, it's got to be the wild guy on the left here, the big guy, with the big beard.
Yeah, Elementalist.
Yeah.
That's my favorite too.
Let's see. Yep, Elementalist has a big chunk of amber in his staff, carrying a sickle. Yeah, this is just talking about how they are like. Yeah, they're very themed towards a wind of magic, which is super cool.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah,
yep.
they have a new battle magic, right? I don't think battle magic was a thing in Old World. I think you just pick one of the 8 wins
Right.
before,
Yeah. So,
right?
yep. No, you're
That's
100% right. Magic feels
yeah.
a little bit more split up right now because we're pulling pieces as opposed to like whole things.
Yeah, maybe much more like concepts versus specific wind of magic.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's cool.
And then it's also there's familiars. I know we've seen these. We all love these.
Everybody loves those guys.
It's extra bit of personality that tell the stories. Places like Talbeck, wizards are tuned with nature. Okay, if you go to Reichland, where it's called Sigmar reigns, it's uttered in a strange sounding phrase. Like there's not going to be many wizards. Um, okay, so depending on where you're at, obviously, is going to dictate if you're okay with magic or not based upon the empire at this time.
Mm. Wow, I wonder if you, depending which area you come from, if you can add mages or not.
Well, actually, we'll do the Empire review book here soon. It has leaked. I've read through it and
Mhm.
watched some videos on it. There's a lot of the Empire man, like based upon what type of army you go with, really, and like then the selections within that army really alters what you can take, especially in regards to magic. So it's I like it. It's very heavy and it's very thematic.
Huh. That's cool. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Crazy.
Yep. Let's see. Necromancers immediately thought as bad. Asking spirits for advice. Stitching body parts together that you so like they're a little they're hanging around graveyards and all that weird stuff. But we're in a period where the von Karsteins aren't a threat, and naughty necromancers aren't so active. They're as dead as they can be for vampires, at least. So okay,
Yeah, I was surprised when they brought in Necromancer at first. I was like, aren't those like,
what?
because we had this, death magic, but it
Yeah,
was different. They didn't call it necromancy. They called it death magic.
yeah. It's I guess it's just a little interesting right now.
Different period.
If there was like if vampires were more rampant, then yeah, death would be a little bit more worrisome. I guess it's like it's just crazy Phil. You'll just he has this little tiny skeleton boy, does little dances. It's fun.
I guess, yeah. Huh.
Let's see. Always dangerous of large amorphous monsters of chaos, but generally you're reaching the spirits behind. Okay, so yeah, they think it's pretty safe, which chaos isn't really rampant right now, so it's probably fairly safe as you could be in the Warhammer world, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, and then we got that beautiful transfer sheet. I'm not sure if you've seen it. You're gonna be very sad with the first sentence on it though, because we're very proud of the new transfer sheets. All the states are covered on the transfer sheet except for the Mootland.
That's so stupid.
Alex has written off this game forever.
They literally just said no. You could just add it there. Doesn't have to be
Yeah, you
humans.
could have had two. I don't know.
Just one. I would buy like 10 of them.
Exactly.
Oh, that sucks. That's
Yep.
sad.
I don't know why they left it off, but I guess because they don't have models for halflings technically. So
Maybe they'll bring. They have them. They have the models.
they do.
They
Never
might bring
know.
them back.
Could be a
If
release
they
later.
do,
Explore it down the line.
be
Uh,
cool.
so a bunch of city stuff, military standards, regiments, scripture from different gods, not just Sigmar. Um,
Hmm.
if you want, say your state troops from are now. I don't know where that is. One of the small towns in Westland. You can. It's probably won't last very long in the background. Friedel's currently okay. Like, hey, you want to be from this random small place that's about to get run over? Go for it. Have fun.
That's great.
Yeah, this is a great transfer sheet. I would assume it also comes with like the battalion box, but you can buy it separate in case you don't need more models.
I'm guessing it's going to come with any of the bigger boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've made elaborate transfers for Bretonians, dwarves, and soon the high elves. Dwarf one, for
Hmm.
instance, has most runes. Oh, so they okay, because we haven't seen any transfers that other than like the basic ones for Bretonians. We haven't
Yeah.
seen dwarves yet, so they're making this for all the supported armies. So we'll see that all soon, which is great.
Yeah. That's great.
All right, provinces you remember? Okay, it's just going through what's all there. Um, Empire Man pre-orders is Saturday, so if you're watching this when it comes out, that'd be tomorrow. Old World Almanac will return in due course. Discuss impending arrival of the High Elves. So break out your finest rags and least broken plates. So boom,
That's cool. I like that.
I am gonna go crazy when the High Elf stuff starts coming out. I can tell you that. You're gonna see
Yeah, you
videos
will.
nonstop. I mean,
Uh,
listen later with me and Neil to learn about my plans for High Elves for the coming year.
they're great. Oh man, I'm so excited they put the moot
On the map to
on the
ignore you.
to ignore us entirely.
Well,
No,
it'll be fun.
that'll be okay.
Well, with that though, we should probably part ways. So this might be a longer episode than expected, which is all good.
Yeah.
But
Enjoy
Alex,
the content, nerds.
yeah, yeah. But Alex, enjoy your New Year. Happy New Year to you.
You as well, John.
I'll probably see you before then because we'll play Warhammer. But
Big time.
yes, but all right, everybody, hang tight. We'll get Neil on, and we'll continue the chat for next year. All right, and we are back, and with the mightiest, the heroisty person who's ever been on a quest. That's right, Neil. Not you. No. He's
Barbarian.
nah.
He's in fact easy mode.
I like him. Neil, welcome back. Christmas is done and dusted. You know what? I have a gripe real quick before we begin.
What's that?
Can you believe it's 364 days from Christmas and people have put their Christmas lights up already?
Right.
Too soon, everybody. All right, you got to let the other holidays work. All right.
One time I left my lights on my house till March. It's not a good look.
I'm thankful. I guess we'll just make this our lawn talk since there's no lawn talk since it's sort of snowy, sort of rainy. I don't have lights outside because the house I have is old and no one put an outside socket in, and I don't want to because then I have to hang up Christmas lights. So I have bows and mats. That's it.
Nice. I used to do Christmas lights, but we have like literally 3 doors down. One of those people who do the extreme Christmas lighting.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
He has his own radio station thing, that goes with the whole thing and whatever. So it's like kind of like the whole neighborhood's just like, well, screw it. Like
That's true. That person doing it has saved countless moms and dads' effort from trying.
Yeah, because I used to do the inside and the outside, but now we're just on the inside now.
Yeah, like I said, couple bows. I go kind of big on the inside. Multiple trees, like only one live tree, like a couple fake trees. Every room has something representing Christmas in it.
Nice.
Of course, in the bedroom, it's always the Santa hat. Santa hat stays on all the time in the bedroom.
Santa hat all the time.
All the time.
Right.
Yeah. Well, how was Christmas for you? Did Santa bring you any goodies from his sack?
He sure did. Kind of funny, like usually I'm a late shopper. I like to, I don't know if it's the male gene. I'm sure I can't speak for everybody here, but for many, many, many years, I was kind of like a wait till last week before Christmas and I got to do this stuff, right?
Right, fair.
But with the advent of Amazon making things so easy, and me just wanting to be more participatory, because my wife usually buys the bulk of the Christmas gifts, just because she just does it earlier. I decided I want to help too, and so. But what happened was my wife and I didn't communicate super well.
Okay.
And so
budget ruined.
When we got all the gifts underneath the tree, we're like, oh. Because $10 here, $20 there. Okay, this one's $100. It's just $100 Christmas,
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of gifts under the tree. So we all had a very good Christmas this year.
That's great.
As far as kids go. So we did not have a very good Christmas so far with visiting family because the kids got sick right before Christmas. And I do have a brother-in-law who's got some issues with kind of a lower immune system, and so we can't bring him anything. So
fair.
So anyway, so we stayed home. It was just me, my parents, the kids, and my niece did come over for Christmas Day. So
that's fun.
Nice little tidy Christmas. Honestly, I like it that way. But not that I wouldn't take a few more, but I like to be home for Christmas personally. And I know it's not all about me, but that's just what I like.
I hear you. So every Christmas Eve, go to the parents. We do the dinner. Some families there. We do the church thing, and then I always keep trying to get, and even my wife does, like trying to get the mother-in-law. Like, hey, why don't you come over Christmas Eve? Come join us for that dinner. Come join us. It'd be a great time.
Yeah.
But you're older, driving at dark, not always the best. So she doesn't want to do that. So she comes over Christmas Day when it's just like, I love you dearly, but man, I would love to just not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like you, like I just want to do nothing. Like I'm like, please let me do nothing, but can't always have it your way yet.
Right. I'm 43 years old, and I still pine for those days where you just get all your Christmas gifts and you just sit alone with them and you tear through them and you're building stuff and you're playing with stuff and just off in your own world, right? And I know that for the parents that was not a thing, but as a kid, it was great. That was great, and I'd love to be able to recreate that. But now I am in fact one of those parents, unfortunately.
Right. If you recreated that would mean you're divorced. And
right.
You bought your gifts for yourself, so the magic's taken away there too. So you can't ever get it back.
No, you can't get it back. Not wholly, anyway.
That's okay. Well, did Santa bring? I'm glad The family had a good Christmas. My family
Yeah.
over here did too. But any Warhammer, any special notes?
No Warhammer this year, but as you can tell from my background here, we got a lot of Hero
Hero
Quest.
Quest.
In fact,
I
not
mean,
just
hey,
one.
that's hobby. That counts. That counts.
Not just one.
What?
Not just
There's
two.
what?
But wait, there's more.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Not just three,
How big is Santa's sack? That's what we all need to know.
but four. You can't even say this is now sitting all on my lap, weighing me down. But yeah, that is a significant amount of Hero Quest.
That's awesome.
Pretty much all the expansions except for Jungles of Defrak. If any of you are also aficionados, I mean, I enjoy this game so much. I mean, I literally could probably start my own podcast about it, but we'll leave that there. That's for another place.
There you go. There you go. That's fun though. I know. Yeah, you like Hero Quest. You get your whole family plays too, don't they? So
Yeah, my wife is Zargon. She's taken up the role of Zargon, so we can play players. And there's currently just me and my daughter playing right now. So I don't think it holds my son's attention. That's fine. Not everything's for everyone.
You need to add some loot boxes to that game, and your son's in.
Some loot boxes, yeah. If you finish the quest, you get some V-Bucks. You'd be there like this, So
Listen, it's gonna be real funny whenever your son's playing a game. You're gonna walk by. It's like, huh, you haven't asked me money for this game. Why are you playing it? And you just see like Marvel Rivals, and you just see, man, those animators have put some cake on some of those models.
oh yeah. Yeah, there's actually this is terrible, but there is my son got a bunch of Marvel Crisis Protocol. I'm looking at different,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm like, looking at Rogue. I'm looking at the model for Rogue. I'm like, that's not a juicy enough Rogue for me. We're gonna have to find a different model
Hey,
for that.
let me tell you, I've played some Marvel Rivals. I'm not a big like Marvel guy anymore. Like, just I'm kind of burned out in superheroes, but like it's a good game. It plays like Overwatch, and I love that style game. I play Hella, who's great. But you need to look at I think Squirrel Girl and Psylocke and Magic. Man,
Packing the cake, huh?
they the animators were just like, we know how to get them in. Let's go. Actually, I think Stephen Strange too. I think Doctor Strange is pretty packing. Hulk is light. I think Hulk's kind of light. But
Yeah.
It's
little
equal
cake fight,
opportunity caking in
Sugar-free
Marvel.
cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes it.
I did get some Warhammer for Christmas here. I alluded to it when I was talking to Alex. I have 4 more models in my backlog now, Neil. Just 4. Sorry, it's a little hard to grab. This was sitting at the FLGS for quite a while. Now it's sitting in my basement.
Look at that. Now that right there, kids, is what's called a blast from the past. That is gore chosen for any of you that are listening on the podcast. It is a beaut.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but it being a fantastic game. Even though I have Corn, these are obviously going to be painted in a traditional scheme and just kept with this box because it's going to be a game I travel with. And it's been in that shop because Norm prices it himself. This has been in that shop since September of 2016.
I love that.
Sealed and in my basement now. Whenever I get to it, which probably next, if I'm honest, as far as like when I feel like painting. I'm still working on the Lumneth I got from my Ho Hobby Vices Secret Santa Bright Minis. Check them out.
There is a lot of solid models in that box. A lot of solid models.
Yeah, I'm excited. The Votan, man, I tell you what, these Votan models are just kind of.
They keep getting slid back, huh?
A little bit. I won't lie, I've lost a little bit of interest in it. I need to like. Honestly, I'm trying to see if anyone locally has like a 40k army type thing, like a little, not a full Tale of Four Warlords. Excuse me, sorry, burp there, but something similar to like get some accountability and like work on it slowly. Like I'm only gonna do 1,000 points, I think, so not gonna be too hard.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, I mean, from the other aspect of my hobby, I now have a workable printer with a
I thought you were going to lead with that for Christmas because that was sort of a Christmas gift.
It was, well, yeah, the printer itself was me purchasing that off of selling some Stormcast to a friend of mine, which I realized I was never going to get to.
Including the Stormcast that are in my basement that I owe you.
Right. You don't owe me any Stormcast. You send those wherever to a good home. But yeah, so I've got a good ventilation system in now. We're not going to give anybody cancer now at this point, and yeah, so I'm much happier about my setup. It's I got a heater for it and everything, so the resin is just the right viscosity, So we'll see
I
how this. I'm actually printing something right now from this computer, which is HeroQuest related, but
mm,
yeah.
very nice, very nice. I
So if even if you're not going to use it for Warhammer or anything like that, I will say printers. If you're a board gamer, having a printer around is just a lot of fun. Like there's a couple characters in HeroQuest that have cards. It's a druid, and you play your card, and it turns your character into a bear.
there's
There's
no
no
bear
bear.
model.
Well, now there is. So we went out and found one, and there's another one. It's a little warlock, and she's like a hobbit type character, like a halfling, right? She's real tiny and everything, and she actually turns into a demon.
Oh,
Uh, which is pretty sweet, right? But
that's
no
sweet. Yeah.
demon model. Well, now
Now
there is.
is.
So, at least in the next hour and a half, there will be. So
I tell you what, I've been following. Like, I want to get one.
mhm.
Like, I'm real tempted now, and it'll obviously be resin. The one thing I have to worry about, I need to bug you and our friend Mike about it too, because the one issue that I worry about, my wife has chemical sensitivity smell.
Mhm.
So like even
Yeah,
like I have to be careful like certain deodorants, like
yeah.
even with her, like it gives her headaches, makes her kind of feel kind of ill. So I'm very worried about that because I don't have a huge house.
Mhm.
I think my house is probably like half the size of yours, maybe a third. So it's like, can I do it in a way where that smell doesn't
Yeah.
affect her? Because
Oh,
I don't want to invest in it and vent it out, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work, and I'm like, well, I'm $400 in.
yeah. Well, what I could tell you is, and for anybody who wants to try it, like dip their toe in without spending a ton of money, there are like, the older Elegoo model style printers that go for like, I mean, shit, like $100, $150.
Mm.
And at that point, I mean, that's like, okay, we can try it, and if it doesn't work out, we can get rid of it and not hate our lives, right?
That's
But
true.
what I'll
I
say,
can give it to someone like, hey Neil, here's a backup
is,
because I can't use
so
it. That's true.
if you get a tent, like I have, like Cole has, like Mike has, I barely smell anything anymore. And if there is a smell around my printer now, it's actually from the isopropyl alcohol.
Oh well,
that's
that's fine.
next to
Yeah,
it. That's outside of the tent. So, and if you keep it in the basement, and she's not
yeah.
a big fan of being in the basement,
She is
she
not.
will she will never smell anything down there
Actually,
at all, ever. And if she could smell it upstairs, something's gone wrong. Okay, you need
gotcha.
to fix that ventilation system. So you shouldn't actually. Now with my tent, I don't even smell it if I'm next to it.
Oh
I've
wow.
got
Okay.
like a respirator on now too, just to make sure. But
Sure, sure. Yeah.
if I walk in there and it's not on or anything, I don't smell a thing. So
See, what I thought about what I could do is, because my house, like it's an old house, like
mhm.
there's a coal chute right over there. But like the old chimney is still in the center of it. There's no fireplace, okay,
uh,
but that's where they vented out everything through it. It's a brick chimney. I could tap into that and vent it out through the chimney in the house. So
as long
that's
as it couldn't come back in anywhere, you'd
no,
be okay.
it's just an outlet. It's not like I said, it's not a fireplace chimney. It's just a chimney to vent out.
Oh,
Yeah, like
sure.
because they
Yeah,
used to
you
be
can do
they
that.
used to heat this with coal, so that's
Yeah.
where it went. But like it's kind of sealed up, other than like a few minor
Oh, yeah.
exhaust
You can
things.
definitely do that. Yeah, that'd make it really easy.
Okay, well we'll
Maybe
figure
not
it out.
easy, but once you did it, it would be,
It would be awkwardly close to my furnace and or hot water heater.
I mean, you should still be fine. I mean, you
I'd
can.
be fine.
So
Yeah.
basically, you just run like hosing, like you have going to like your dryer or
Oh,
whatever.
okay. So
That,
I can do
that
hosing.
stuff.
Okay.
You can do it. You can do it 10 feet away from there. You just vent it over there.
To be honest, it would probably be sitting next to me here
Mhm.
because then I could vent up and over.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah.
go up and over. You're good.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, I'll maybe I'll bug you about that and maybe actually seriously look into that. Um,
Yeah.
but I know like the one thing that you said, like we're talking coal, we're talking resin, fumes, respirators. We don't want to get any black lung, right?
Right.
But that kind of sort of segues into what we're going to talk about next. Like a little quick news segment. Alex and I went over the old world news from today at the time of
Mhm.
recording, but we're going to look at the the release for Christmas Day we got of a new Primarch returning to 40K. I know we're not a big 40K podcast, but we all appreciate it, right?
Sure. What's a Primarch?
Fulgrim, Demon Primarch.
That's fine.
I know, I know. You're a Tau player. You don't respect them.
That's right. I don't care about any of this stuff, but that's fine.
Yeah. So a fun model. There's memes going around of some design choices. It's still a cool model. I think I'm like everybody else. I kind of prefer the 30K one. It feels more like Marathi if I'm leaning towards that. I
Yeah.
kind of want to just call this guy Male Wrathy, but Fulgrim's a big enough character that it matters to not do that.
Right. I mean, could you just swap the head?
Well, swapping the head is the key thing I think most people are concerned about. I suppose you could. I don't know the size of him. He seems like he's bigger than Marathi. But if you look on screen, there's head options, and like I said, I like my Slaanesh to be beautiful. This is a very good demon face. If you like the demon face, like it hits a lot of range of emotions.
Mhm.
But if you're watching this, you know, watchers, I'm gonna show you something. Big M sent me this. I'm not sure if he got it from somewhere, but I put it out on the internet as fast as possible. But there's a fix for this. All right, you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
Boom, blue steel. We 3D print the the Zoolander blue steel face. Put it on Fulgrim. It's on
Oh my
screen right
God.
now. Fixes everything.
That face is still going strong. What, 23 years later? I don't know.
Solid.
At least.
Solid. Yeah, see? Before, after. Before, after. Another reason to get a 3D printer, but
Yes, right. Get that different head.
exactly. All right. Memes aside, we're done there. It's cool to see a new Primarch coming back for 40K. Hopefully we get Jagati next for the loyalist side because he's
Looking
cool.
like it's one a year kind of thing. Maybe. Possibly.
Well, I'm kind of curious because all the other ones so far have been kind of like story beats to bring them back.
Mm.
And like this one's just like, here's Fulgrim.
Yeah.
Like,
we need some money.
yeah.
Sales were not where we wanted to be, and here it is.
Although, in all honesty, with the way the story works, Fulgrim's just been like lounging on a planet. He's like, I don't want to deal with this. Like, he's like, I'm just gonna live in luxury. So like him coming back when he feels like it is very fitting for his character in Slaanesh. So
Nice.
I hope they actually don't acknowledge it. It's just all of a sudden Fulgrim out of nowhere, like a steel chair.
Yeah. Just model a steel chair on there. It'd be amazing.
He's got 4 arms. He got 4 steel chairs, or have 2 and just really hit hard, like clapping. He hasn't got cheeks anymore, but he's got chairs to clap.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized how dumb that joke was. I'm sorry.
We'll take it. We appreciate the dad jokes and the dumb jokes here on the show.
And indeed.
Mm.
But with that, this is the New Year's episode. Even though most people will be watching this in 2024, but we want to wish you all a happy New Year. So we're gonna take a look at the previous year and look at the year ahead. Neil, I can't recall where you sit with this. Me and Alex, we talked about it. We're not big resolutioners.
Oh, I hate resolutions.
Good. Yeah. Like I like goals, but like, I've had goals in mind well before the past couple weeks of the year. Like these are goals I'm still chasing, but I'm aiming to maybe get done next year. So, all right, we're all on the same page. Like I said, that's it. If resolutions help you, Godspeed. We're a goal-oriented podcast around here, through and through. So before we look at the 2025 goals we may have, let's circle back.
Oh boy.
What this past year? How was your hobby? How was everything looking?
Man, I thought you were about to drop back to like a 2024 episode and figure out what my goals were. Whew.
Oh,
Glad you
man,
didn't do that.
Listen, you think I'm capable of that? I can sort of edit these podcast shows now. All right, I can't really remember what we did last week.
No, so this year, let's see. What did we do?
Overall, was it a good year for you? You think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it might have been a little bit lighter on games this year. In fact, this might have been one of my lightest game years in like the last decade, which is kind of sad, honestly. I hate it. I hope it starts to turn around a little bit more. Just been, life, and you guys have heard me talk about that on the podcast here. But it's possible I may actually even get out Saturday to get another game in. So whereas one point in my life it was a weekly assurance that I'm getting a game in every single week, at least one, if not multiple. Now we're hoping for 2. We're hoping for 2, maybe 3. Of course, this time of year is always tough, but
yeah,
I think the wife and kids are going to be out of town this Saturday, and because I work on Sunday, I will not be going with them. So that may open up a little bit of time for me to go do something like that. So
hey, listen, barn's open if you want to come play.
If if I drove to the barn
Friday night, tomorrow night.
and didn't do the same thing to go see family, that would be I would be absolutely destroyed.
Oh, that's fair.
I would be so divorced.
That's fair. That's fair.
So we cannot do that. Over a 30-minute trip to the game shop, that can happen. So,
Okay.
but so yeah, games were kind of light. Armies were not.
All
I think
right.
we had some pretty good work on some armies.
Yeah.
So this past year, I guess that was a year before, prior to that. No, so I think we got 2 old world armies done
Yeah.
and dusted.
Orcs and goblins and high elves,
2000
right?
Yep, 2,000 points were painted for orcs and goblins. I may be actually putting that army. That might have been a 2024 army because that was right before. Yeah, that finished actually in 2020.
2023.
Yeah, so just one technically 2,000 point army, although we have added quite a few things into the orcs and goblins army and painted it, but have not didn't finish that full army in 2025. But high elves good to go.
2024.
And,
You're a year ahead already.
Yep. So we got one army in. So I think if you can get at least one army done a year, you're doing it.
That's good. That's good. I said I kind of thought, looking back, I didn't have a great year. I'm like you. The games were definitely. I mean, I'm still getting probably weekly games in, but like not every week. Some weeks I'm like, I just don't feel like playing. I'll just hang out with like the club.
Yeah.
Definitely a ramp up in old world games. Drop in Sigmar games, especially after the new edition, because it's not hitting fully for me yet. But yeah, I thought my hobby was kind of like lackluster because I kept burning myself out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mentioned it with Alex. I did 15 Spearhead in like a month and a half, which was exciting, and I'm glad I did it. But man, it burned me out. Then some GW projects, but on top of that, I somehow did 4 armies this year.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Cities,
Bretonnians, Cities of Sigmar, High Elves, and I did one for our good friend Dave Roke, his Wood Elves.
That's right.
Now
was that technically 2024? Since that was for Terathi was in December last year.
Right, but it was to paint him for the next Terathi. I had to paint it within the next year, and I painted it, I think, in like February.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so it was paint. Yeah, he built it. I just painted it. And then there was endless GW stuff going on. Like I actually, after I burned myself out a couple times on like some terrain and stuff, I legitimately took a break from hobby, and I've been exploring other hobbies. Like you've seen my retro game stuff going on. Like,
oh yeah.
Which it was needed. It was needed. Like I'm finally getting re-energized for more Warhammer, but I have my sheet here to see exactly how many models I painted in 2024. Neil, do you remember what I painted in 2023?
Something in the 2000s.
2047.
There we go.
Year before that, 1058. Year before that, 198. So you can tell when Games Workshop really ramped up.
And we're not counting prime models, right?
No, so that is the caveat. So what I count in here is any model of what I need to do to it. So build and paint. A lot of paint takes in here, which are built and primed. I don't count the ones I didn't do. If I primed it but didn't build it, I don't count it in that list. It's only the ones I've done. So you could probably take out probably about a third of it. I suppose. Maybe 2/3 is probably just all paint takes, but I'm going to add it up here. So if you want to talk to the people real quick, I can add up all these lovely numbers.
All right. Well, people, as Chuck adds up his numbers on his calculator here, go ahead and estimate what Chuck is going to paint in 2025. Go ahead and put that in the comments, and we can revisit this video. I'll make Chuck revisit this video and see who amongst you chose the closest. Kind of like the old jar M&Ms trick, right? Let's see how many models. In this case, these are GW models. Chuck will have painted. My hope is that Chuck does get a 3D printer and that his backlog grows to an extent that is unmanageable for him. That's just the hater in me. But that it'll be interesting and actually a lot of fun in 2025 to see if Chuck does get one of those things, to see if he can actually keep up with his printing and with his painting, because that would be um, that would be I don't know, a challenge that I've never seen completed before in my entire life. So how we coming here, Chuck?
Keep going.
Keep going.
The way I do it is anytime I finish a model or a unit or anything, I write down exactly how much it is. So it's like there's a few on here, it's like 16, 10, 12, 11, and other ones it's like 837.
Yeah, you need to keep this this number rolling in a spreadsheet.
So here's how I do it.
The thing you call equal sum.
Can you see
my
it?
God.
It's a post-it note and it flips over. Yeah, it's
Oh my God. We gotta get you some help there. Microsoft Office. Or
I do it from a
Dev-
checkbook, but I don't do it for this. Yeah.
That's too funny. This is a lack of preparation on this podcast, Chuck. I'm just saying.
It is. All right.
He's working, people. I promise, he's working.
I fat fingered something somewhere.
All right. Well,
It's
while he,
I think it's near 4,000.
oh my God.
I
So if
I
you take out a third of that for taking paints,
I would
right?
say
you got,
let's take out half. Let's be safe. It's probably what I did last year. It's probably around 2,000 something. Maybe like
Okay.
2,500, I guess.
fully painted. Mhm.
I will add it up before the next podcast because I have to add it all up and write it in, and I'll take my time and stuff.
That was crunch time.
That was crunch time. I was like, "Ugh." Yeah, it's a lot. And yeah, like I get some people are just like, yeah, oh, you just primed it. I'm like, yeah, well, we built and primed it, so fuck you.
That's to be fair. That's what most people do with their armies. So
Yeah, that's true. um, that said, looking back, it was actually a good year as far as hobby. I actually do remember a couple things I wanted to do this year. One was actually not be so nonstop with hobby, and the other one was actually to not play less games, but go to less events. Because the prior year, like, I was going pretty hard on events, and I needed kind of a break.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Which I accomplished that. Didn't go to many events this year, hardly any. Actually, did I go to one? No. I mean, not unless I worked it. And then yeah, like hobby, I took multiple month breaks, so that was nice. So I think I kind of got some of my goals for hobby that time.
Sure, sure. So, what was your favorite thing you did this year so far? Oh, that's a tough question here.
It is.
Asking the tough questions here on 60 Minutes.
It is because I think I want to say probably my city's army.
Yeah.
Just because I got to heavily kit bash a lot of the army to give it the theme and the flavor, adding in some old high elf stuff like Sisters of Avalorn heads, some high elf things, bows, lots of Sylvaneth pieces to make a living city's army. I absolutely loved the greens I used in that. Like I fell in love with the painting green again, which was good because then that's what I copied to paint Dave's army real quick.
Yeah.
And then I got to do the transfers, and it's just like that whole army like felt good from beginning to end. I think I began it the year before technically, but like yeah, like the bulk of it was this past year, and that was just it was satisfying.
Sure. Yeah.
What about you? What was your favorite?
My favorite thing that I've done, I've only done one army technically this year. So my favorite thing that I did this year was probably print. Well, I guess I didn't print these. Carl printed them for me, but it was probably paint those Lothern Sky Cutters. I thought those were really sweet.
Nice.
I also had a lot of fun designing models on Hero Forge. If you want to sponsor us, please let us know as I name drop all these companies.
Oh yeah, I use Hero Forge for any time I get the chance to play D&D. Whenever people actually invite me and I'm able to, I'm like, I hate miniatures on D&D as far as actually playing with them, but I love having one that's my character.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore it.
It is. Yeah. It is a very addictive thing to do. I will say this: like we have like tons of guys. Like my kids have done it. I've done it. We have like tons of characters on there, and so. But yeah, you can actually. I mean, if there's like the Handmaiden of the Everqueen is so hard to find. I imagine that's going to get better I imagine they're going to re-release it. I cannot imagine a world where that does not get re-released.
It's
GW, if you're listening, re-release it or give us a new model. One of the two. I
yeah,
don't care which one.
it's
But
one of the most gorgeous models. That's probably my favorite model in the High Elf range. I only ever got one, and it was fine cast.
right.
So yeah,
So that's
I
we got to do something about that.
I
We
kit
got
bashed one for my new army.
to.
So yeah, please give that back to us.
Yeah, so this was basically me kit bashing a unit because there's no way I'm paying $300 for that model, regardless of how lovely it is.
Yeah.
Wasn't going to happen. So, but here's to hoping that it comes back to reality and they re-release it here within the next few months, maybe, possibly, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was probably my favorite thing I did. I thought that was a really cool model.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah,
I'm sure like the printing was good. Like it looks good on the basing. Like and it fits your army. Like it gives it that perfect silhouette.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So,
well, it doesn't matter anymore. 2024 is done. Doesn't matter what we did. Those accolades gone. Doesn't matter. Throw them away, Neil. Throw the army away. You don't need it anymore. New year, new army, right? That's how it works, right?
Right.
Sure. Yeah. No. I don't think it doesn't have to work that way, everybody. You don't have to go buy stuff because someone makes a hashtag.
Right. Or what you can do instead of buying a new army is just add to the one you already have.
If it's painted.
Little insider knowledge there. Yeah.
Which that's actually an excellent segue. It's like your professional podcaster. You should start that Hero Quest podcast. I think I look forward to you surpassing the numbers of this podcast within like a week.
I just repeat the whole best thing about Hero Quest on loop. That's all.
And people would love it.
But anyway, let's get to the segue.
Yeah. So 2025, it's coming upon us shortly, or it's upon us, depending on when you're listening to this. What do you want to get done? Like, what's on your mind for hobby for 2025? Like, an event you want to hit up, army you want to start or build, or something you want to add, or are you do you want to do less? Do you want to 3D print stuff, but start a commission business? Where's your mind at for this?
So my priorities right now are Brewhammer for some Age of Sigmar dirty action. We will be going 0-5. Don't expect a lot.
Unless we fight.
I'm excited to dip my toe back in Age of Sigmar and start to figure that back out. We're going to be next thing is to get out to the barn, visit you guys out there in Pennsylvania, because there is a hole in my soul until I'm able to do that.
Yep.
So that's high on the priority list. From there, I do want to keep filling out my Orcs and Goblins Old World army. I want to keep filling out my High Elf army. I will probably be tempted to start a Dark Elf army at some point, because that's the other army that I used to have that I got rid of.
Hey, most of it's here.
Promise this time I won't have a cauldron with a brick of shame. So.
Yep. I'll say most of your army, isn't it with me now?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, and it's not repainted because you painted the same red as me.
I did get rid of a bunch of it went to the winds. Dark Elves went to the winds. But here is another one that is also high on the priority list. I have my friend Carl and I are going to work on this together so that we can make it look pretty legit, because he does have an FDM printer for terrain. But we will be making good on the fours bet that I made, and we will have a pretty sweet Mordheim board that we are going to start working on together.
Nice.
So.
That's a pretty good set of goals. I mean, I like it. It's all within reason, all fun stuff,
all achievable.
Yeah.
Make your goals achievable, people. Otherwise, they might as well just be wishes.
They can be a little bit hard to achieve. That's always a good place to be. Not insurmountable,
but achievable. Right?
Achievable with effort and work. So, for me this year, I obviously had this Votan force. Just to paint up for some fun. I'm going to Brewhammer too. So I want to get back to going to a few events, not a ton. Like, I'm not looking to go like every single month, but like, hey, one every 4 months sounds good to me, at least. That's a good place to start. Be it Sigmar or Old World. Sigmar or Old World is perfect for me. which is funny because I'll be doing 2 in back-to-back months because my event and then Brewhammer with Terathi. But other than that, like I have no real desire to start a new army. I said my Votan will be something I just work on. There is something that's in my head. I was talking about last night. I was hoping somebody, one of our little internal crew, was around for me to just ping off them. Thankfully, I did it through chat. But I've had 2 things in my mind that I've been like, it's been, one's newer, one's a little bit older. The older one is looking at my my Terathian Temple, my Daughters of Cain army. Obviously, a lot of stuff ported from Dark Elves that I had into Daughters of Cain. It just grew from there. And when you have a bulk of an army, you just kind of let it flow. You know, so like, oh, the color scheme was kind of there, so just kept running with it. The one thing I do with my elves, and I've done all elves and dwarves back in the old world, like I gave them different hair colors. Obviously, my original dark elves didn't really have any blondes. It was brown at best. High elves didn't have any black. They might have like a dark brown. Wood elves would be kind of whatever I wanted. So when my Daughters of Cain came up and I was making about Terathi, I incorporated blonde, and there was a lot more blonde added, but it's still blonde, black, and white. That's the hair colors I've used. And I keep looking at it going, man, is it time to go over, because most of it's already blonde. Like all the witch elves are blonde. Is it time to unify the hair color? Like you're in the Terathian cult, this is the hair color you use, and just make it all blonde.
As you are sacrificed to the pool of blood.
Exactly, yeah. I've been debating it. I mean, to be fair, that's probably like 2-3 weeks worth of effort. My color scheme's pretty easy. It's just, taking my time so I don't screw up the paint jobs elsewhere. But I've been really debating that. So that's kind of like one of those maybe type goals. I could get real interested in it when I have nothing else to do. But right now, I have a different main goal going on. And there's still things where I'm still trying to figure it out. But Neil, over to my left over here, you'd love it. You'd be a tear to your eye. My entire High Elf collection is on the table again. And by entire, I mean my fantasy army, which is the 20,000-ish points, and my Old World army, which was the army I started for Old World. And I purposely wanted to be very thematic and kind of be within constraints to learn the game and grow with the game and all that sort of stuff. So, and also they're all on the newer size basis, where everything's else on the older side basis. In
10 seconds or less, tell me how long you've spent just staring at those models since you've put them out.
Well, let's see. I went over to the club today a little before 3 because we watched a Liverpool game. Unfortunately, they won, so Arsenal's having a harder time right now. But I set them all out around 11, so 20-minute shower. I ate lunch staring at them. It's probably about 2.5, 3 hours.
It's like hypnotizing, man. When you got that many painted models out,
Yeah.
I mean, and there's something that you love too. It's your favorite army. It is literally hypnotizing and they're literally, the other thing I love about painting models and collecting models and things like that is they are a timestamp as well in your life, right? So like you can look at them and be like, okay, I did this at this point, this at that stage. I was doing this at this stage. This one looks a little bit off. I really would like to go revisit that one because I didn't do that one as well as I'd like to. Okay, you add all those little bits and stuff to your models, so you're able to recycle games that you've played with certain models and everything. I mean, just a blast.
And there's also a bunch of models in here that I bought off somebody who was selling their stuff, so I can see like their paint jobs, which are still better than mine, that I keep striving to improve. So like they're mixed in nicely too. But I think I've reached a point, and last night talking in the chat kind of helped with this, is I think I enjoyed the process at the start for this past year. Because, by the way, we got to do like a year in review of Old World. Like, how do we feel about the game after it's been out for a year?
Actually, I wanted to bring that up too. Yeah.
That's going to be a future podcast. We can do a high level, but I think we can do a whole podcast on that. And I did good limiting myself. Like, I didn't play with the dragon this entire year. No, my only crutch was Sisters of Avalorn. That's it.
Right.
And I'm kind of at the point where I'm looking like we're on the cusp of new high elf stuff coming out. And I'm looking, man, it's all going to come out. I'm like, I could just buy all this stuff, paint it, put it in there fresh. But I have stuff I painted kind of recently before Old World came out that I was still painting on this army. I'm like, why do I want to limit myself? Why do I want to throw more money? Like, I don't need 20 more Phoenix Guard. I have 40. I didn't need 20 more light lines. I had 40. Now I have 60. I'm like, so I want to reincorporate. It's one army again in my mind.
Right.
Because I can use it for either. My remaining dilemma, because what I did while staring at thinking through this last night too, I went to two places. One to Amazon, and I bought enough fantasy old style bases, like the smaller size bases. I bought enough to rebase everything here. I don't know if I want to do that. And I also went to Mini Wargaming Forge because their prices are very reasonable. And I bought more than enough conversion trays. And I only needed the individual ones. Like I have converter trays already for like other armies I use.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to run this hero individually, well, I need to take it from the 25 to the, or from the 20 to the 25. If I want to run this skirmish Alarian Reavers, I need to take them from the 25 to the 30. So I bought a bunch of stuff like that to convert all of my stuff up as individuals. And I have trays and everything, so I can run this as a unified force. It's the same color scheme. But I'm unsure if I want to rebase the new stuff I did. It's about 100 models. It's not a ton. Rebase them to the old and just use the converter trays, or just change the base color of the rim to match, because like it's black, the old stuff's brown. It's the same flocking though.
Yeah.
And like leave them on the big size things for reusing them when I want to, and be like a mix mash. I'm unsure of how I want to do that. So my goal is to figure that out in the next couple months. But like unifying this army is kind of where I'm at.
I'd love to see it. Honestly, you've got too much cool shit for it to sit on the shelf.
Yeah.
You know, and only get pulled out once a year to play 8th edition, if you in fact play 8th edition. So, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame for it to be pining for a table somewhere.
Yeah. Well, now it's all on this table, and it's all back together. It's gonna be 4 full tubs. And I'm not saying I won't buy stuff for it. I'm gonna buy whatever new stuff that come out with it. I might buy another dragon or just something fun to paint. But what's your thoughts? And everybody in listening, feel free to let me comments or DM me, whatever. Should I take the newer size bases off and do all old size bases and just use the converter trays? And the reason I say this, this could change. I'm not in the know of this. As far as I'm aware, there's no plans at the GW US Open events to run Old World yet. Like and to be fair, if it was going to happen, I'd probably want to be one of the TOs. So I wouldn't be playing. I'd be running it anyway.
Yeah.
So the only official GW Old World events I'm aware of are put on by Warhammer World. Perfectly fine. And to be honest, I haven't looked recently, but I don't think they care about tray converters. So, one, I realized I was limiting myself by not just using my whole army now. So, boom. I want to do a dragon, I'll do a dragon. I want to have 600 points of core of Sisters of Avalorn, I can do that. I have enough. But am I limiting myself by not putting them all on the same bases to run them however I see fit? That's my current question. So, that's my first goal of the year, is solidifying how I want to handle that.
If you wanted my opinion,
I do. I actually do.
Just an opinion. It's fully based in my thought process on the whole thing. So you can take this and throw it out the window if you want. So it's my 10 cents. If you were based every one of those models to old world size bases.
No.
No, I know. No,
okay,
I know.
Okay. Make sure you understood me right. Okay.
If you did that and you did all of your models into the new bases, why couldn't you play 8th edition with them?
It's a fair point.
And so for my liking of the aesthetic, I like the aesthetic of the bigger bases and everything. Sure. Not that you couldn't do converters. It would be fine. It's fine. It'd be a fine way to do it. But my thought process on it, because I was wondering about that too. It's like, what if I want to play 8th edition and all this? I'm like, why can't I play 8th edition with the new base sizes? Especially if somebody else has the updated base sizes too. Then we're all at the same level. Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't change anything.
It doesn't really change anything at that point, because we're all on the same playing field, essentially. So that's what I actually intend to do, is just put everything on the new bases and That's it. So
Well, no, I love the thought process because I think your solution aside, you hit on the issue I have of the fact that they're not all on the same base and I'm treating them as the same army is the problem.
mhm.
Because I can't run, like, if I use converter trays, then if I would need one or two of the bigger bases, then they don't work and I have to rebase it anyway, or just it looks weird.
Yeah. The thing is the heroes, right? The heroes that aren't in a converter. Then say, what do you do? Then you just have to have multiple heroes at that point, which easily done, right?
Right.
But
But I'm only gonna have one Teyrathi in this. Well, I guess I could convert more.
it's just that it's an annoyance, right? Like to me,
Yes.
that would be an annoyance to me. That like I want to play that model, but that's not the model that I have based to this size. That's annoying.
Right.
You
So
know?
like, so you're absolutely right. The goal is to figure out how I want to have these based, I guess.
Mhm.
So do I just want to rebase the few hundred, or do I want to rebase everything up?
And here's what I'll say too. Bigger base sizes, and you know me and bases, allow you to do more hobby on your bases than you would otherwise.
That's fair.
Unless your models are you're getting bigger models or something like that. I don't know.
I'm gonna throw a small wrench into your idea here.
Mhm.
So the reason right now, if you look at my high elves, my dark elves, and my wood elves, high elves are blue and purple. Dark elves are
Mhm.
red and purple. Wood elves are green and purple, the same purple. Because during the end times, you can run them kind of all together.
Uh,
This is biggest first world problem you've ever seen because I'm swinging real hard for the fences on this. What if I ever wanted to play an end times game again, and I have some high elves on big bases, but nothing else is?
well, then you just get converters for the rest of them.
Maybe I don't know. I'm still
It doesn't
torn.
it doesn't look as it's not the same feel, right? So it depends on how OCD you want to be about the whole thing for sure.
A little
It's
OCD, not
your armies, right? It's your armies, and it's your right to decide what you want to do and what the aesthetic is for you. So, me starting from scratch with Old World now, it's an easy decision for me. Not as easy for you.
Well, I say that there is easy. It's like my Bretonian army was brand new. I've never had that army, so I have no history with it.
Yeah.
All new bases, didn't look back, never going to.
Yep.
Tomb Kings, I had an army, so I put them all in the old size bases, unless it was a new model like the Bone Dragon, which only had the new base.
Okay.
Dwarfs, everything's on the old size base that I ever bought, except for the new shield bearers because it just won't fit otherwise.
Mhm.
And I'm okay. For some reason, mentally, I'm okay with that. It would just sit there and it'd be okay. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, the high elves one is throwing me through a loop because like I don't hate your idea of moving everything to the new base size, but I do hate how much effort that will take.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort.
It is.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
it also gives you something to tinker with, and it really gives you something like if you want to take the bases, like if you want to do something a little special with the bigger bases in particular, that's where the fun comes in. With your chariots, with your
Mhm.
dragons, with your
Well,
things
actually,
like that. A little
honestly,
bit bigger.
only the dragons have bigger bases. Chariots are the same for us. Well,
Chariots
maybe
did
the
stay.
Sky Cutter's different.
Well,
Sky Cutter's different.
sky cutters are bigger.
It's on the
Sky
60.
cutters are
Okay,
bigger.
yeah. But the Tyrannok and White Lions are still in the 50s.
Yeah, which is annoying to me, but
It's a
actually,
little
but
annoying.
so-
I know the only thing for sure is I'm going to rebase. So I have I have 4 bolt throwers now. 3 of them I had them on rounds because they didn't matter in 8th edition.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put them on the right size squares for Old World because sure,
Mhm.
that makes sense. That
Yeah,
works.
it's a war machine. I mean,
Yeah.
at one point you didn't even have to have bases for them, so who cares?
Well, the round bases, I don't think they were needed either. The only reason I used them is because those tripods are little.
Yeah.
little
No,
wonky.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I keep looking. I mean, I'm gonna look at this army all night. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We'll see. Like I said, I have bases coming for the old sizes. I just don't know if I care to do that, but I'll have
Mhm.
the ability to. I hate that you put the thought in my head about moving everything up.
Mhm.
I'd like to say that's probably the lowest on the totem pole of what I'd want to do.
It may be, but what I will say is, as Old World marches forward into new editions, I don't think these base sizes are going backwards. I think they're only going forwards. So,
Which you're absolutely right, but it's just yeah. But it's one of those things too. It's like, well, it's hard to predict the future of like when will there ever be an event I would attend that I would need to be on that new base size. It's like, at what point would Games Workshop be running events largely enough that I would be able to attend one?
Mhm.
And secondly, where they would actually care that you're on the exact size bases, considering we're using trays anyway.
Yeah, I don't. As long as you had their models, I don't think they're going to give a rat's ass about the bases.
No, I don't think they are either. It's just like, could they in the future? I guess so, but
Mhm.
right now, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what you choose. So
It is. It is. Like I said,
my 10 cents, and may it torture you for the rest of the night.
oh, it will. It will. It's. I mean, you know what it's like being a guy in this hobby. Like, it's not gonna, like, 90% of my brain, 95% of my brain. It's good. It's got like, hey, I need to eat. How's my wife doing? I want to play this video game. Taylor Swift lyrics just nonstop. And then 5% for Warhammer that's always on. It's gonna be like churning this thought process over and over and over again. And I hope I don't wake up tomorrow and go, God damn it, I'm doing all new base sizes. Thank you, Neil.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. Actually, what I might do to start is I might just, because this would be 2 hours on my day tomorrow. I might just take the rims of the bases that are black right now for the new size bases and just make them brown. Because maybe I do that and my brain goes, you know what? That's good enough. That's fine. You're going to be just fine with this. Or maybe trigger something else. We'll see. We'll see. And also, I have some Lumineth I need to paint. Oh man, I'm slacking hard on it.
It'll be sounds like it's going to be a fun 2025 for both of us, because we've got a lot of good projects to work on, and as it always happens, there will be more to add to this list.
Yeah, well,
probably what we have on it already. So,
I mean, yeah, we're gonna get new models, at least one or two for High Elves. I mean, I bet I'll buy the Daughter's Cane book when it comes out, if it comes out this year. I don't know about new models, and tell you what, I don't really care to do a full army this year, but you drop Malarian or Tyrion with enough stuff, guess what I'm doing?
Yeah.
I'm starting that army right away.
We've been waiting for that for a long time now. Decade or more.
Man, I would be so shocked.
It'll be a decade for an ALS version.
It would be. Actually, let's do a prediction. Give me 2 wild predictions for this year. One for Old World, one for Sigmar. What do you think could happen?
Wild ones, not like easy pickings. Wild predictions.
I'll let you do whatever ones you
want.
want.
Sure to be wrong prediction. How about that?
Okay, you give me. Okay, tell you what, you give me one sure to be wrong and one possible, but don't tell me which is which.
Okay. Let's see. For Old World, we get the reintegration of all of the legacy armies. Okay, so that's one. And see, also for Old World, we get a new handmaiden model.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then for Sigmar, I mean, you just pretty much laid it out already. I got it. Okay, we get a Malarian, not a Tyrion, but a Malarian model, and I say this because we already have, kind of the high elf version sitting out there with the Lumineth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have that, but we don't have the Malarian side of things. Even though we have Marathi side and stuff like that, not the same thing, right? So we'll get a Malarian army, and then like Shadow Elves army, and then here's the other one. You get a Chaos Dwarves, and Matt is finally happy, army and AOS that comes out, and you can imagine which one of those I think is the pie in the sky. So.
Shout out to Matt, Big M. He gifted me on Steam the Chaos Dwarf for Total War 3. He's just like, and his message was, I know you'll never use it, but here you go. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, he did the same thing for me as well. Yeah, absolutely.
What I didn't tell him is I'm currently downloading it right now on this downstairs PC, and it's going to be the only Steam game I have on this PC. So we'll see. Maybe I'll use it. All right, so for me, Old World. Let me give you 2 here. A new Phoenix King, Finnebar the Phoenix King model.
Be our first ever Phoenix King
that
we've ever been able to play with. So,
well, there was kit bashes during the end times, and the one White Dwarf weekly. I mean, we should go through that.
I
Anyway,
saw that.
they weren't. They
Mhm.
were kit bashes though. Like we could made it, but they didn't really have rules. Uh-oh. Neil accidentally left this meeting. So let's just continue on as we finish up here. See if he joins back in. Ah, man. What is another old world one? I was to say they announced the new edition. Like they're like, hey, not that it's gonna be soon, but like, hey, we are working on another edition to progress things forward. I think that would be another thing. Like I say, it could be a quick announcement, nothing major. But with that, I will pause so we can get Neil back in here. Then 1 second.
All right, hold on.
The man, the myth, the legend has returned to us.
Yeah. Sorry, technical difficulties there.
Hey, we've gone quite a few episodes without it, so that's perfectly fine. But Neil, as I was saying, for Old World, Phoenix King model, and not that it's close or they give us any details, but they say, hey, we're working on another edition to progress things forward. Because don't forget, it was like 4 years they gave us notice of this first one.
Yeah.
For Sigmar, I'm going to say Tyrion. We'll get Tyrion and like 1-2 units for him. And the other one is they decide to go and put back all the dwarves in one book. Like Doradin holds. And even so far that if they release Malarian instead, they decide to combine Malarian and the Daughters of Cain's army into one faction book again. I would say that'd be near the end of the year, and the reason I'd say those two types of things is strictly because I feel they're going to realize as time progresses that the lack of flavor is going to hurt, and a good way to bring flavor back would be to give more options within a book.
Yeah.
And that those two would be the easiest, I think, to combine potentially.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the aesthetics are just so different for the dwarves that it's going to be hard to make an army like that look cohesive. But I don't think that would stop anybody. I think it would definitely be a hobbyist's dream, but to make it work together. But
I enjoy doing it to my KO and Fire
yeah,
Slayers.
yeah. I don't know. Like for the casual player, would they be willing to do that? But yeah, who knows?
I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll figure out how it works, but I think that's my two for that. But yeah, I mean that really wraps it up. You know, I mean, I'm coming back here for just a few minutes of wrap up at this point, but we
Yeah,
have to see your lovely
sorry.
face to end the year.
Yeah, well, as you do for sure.
All right, Neil. Actually, you know what, Neil, your head's very roundish, very ball droppy-ish. If I count that backwards from 10, can your head slowly drop off screen so we can give people a strength hammer?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
ready? You ready?
Yeah.
All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Yeah, we leave with the hero quest in the back. I wish the best.
Yeah, there you go. And your ceiling lamp light was coming in. Well, Neil, I look forward to next year when we talk all the fun Warhammers again for another 52 weeks in a row. We'll miss weeks. It'll be like 47.
Perfect.
I don't know.
Get going towards episode 200.
We're getting there. Hey, we're getting more followers. Welcome to all the new people out there. Over 600 solidly now. Love to see it.
Glad to have it.
Yep. All right. Happy New Year, everybody. We will see you at the start of next year, and we'll have some fun. But yeah, till then, stay Stormcast strong and happy hobbying.
Happy New Year, everybody.